Hi, I'm Yakov Horowitz, and I'd like to talk to you about the importance of really adhering to the letter and the spirit of the law as far as social distancing is concerned in light of the terrible virus that's posing such a danger to all of us. I'd like to read to you a letter written by Dr. Ellie Bennett. He's a very well-known physician, extremely well-respected in Kew Garden Hills, Queens, and he posted a message on a neighborhood WhatsApp chat to friends of his. Obviously, it certainly wasn't personal, but it was very powerful. And the fellows that he was writing to had formed these private minyanim. You know, of course, minyan is a quorum of 10 people where we get together to pray, to daven. And many of these, some certainly believe the people who do them are well-intended and want to fulfill a mitzvah, a commandment of davening with a minyan. But Dr. Bennett didn't see it that way at all. He wrote I'm going to read to you, just verbatim, I'll read to you what he wrote, and then I'll share my thoughts with you. This is Ellie Bennett. You know who I am and where I work. I just feel that I have to go on the record. It is my medical opinion, and the same of all the infectious disease expert, that these minyanim, meaning these private minyanim that are adhering to social distancing, meaning they're 6 feet from each other, that these minyanim are going to kill people. I know it sounds very difficult for all of you to understand because it seems like an innocuous gathering of 15 to 20 people. I will happily take any of you on a 5-minute tour of what's going on in my hospital right now. As of this past Thursday, we had 7 patients sick enough to be admitted. As of yesterday, it was 30, and as of today, it's 50. Elderly people from our neighborhood are on ventilators in the ICU because of these minyanim. There's a 6 a.m. minyan, followed by 7 a.m., an 8 a.m., and a 9 a.m. Even if only 25 people come to each, that's 100 people in the same room in the same morning. And I quote, statistically, you guys are going to kill at least one old person every time you guys meet. You all trust me to treat you like family when you come to my office, so I'm speaking to you like family. Stop the minyan, stop the gatherings, stay home and pray by yourself. Have in mind that the EMTs and paramedics and doctors and nurses working in the hospitals who are working under ridiculous conditions, trying to save as many people as we can. I admit there won't be thousands of deaths in Kew Garden Hills, but are we really willing to accept that 1 out of 100 people in a neighborhood will die? I am not. We trust doctors whether or not to eat on Yom Kippur or whether to make a bris. Why all of a sudden do you think it's appropriate to ignore us? Have a good night and good luck to us all. I have a policy of never quoting anyone unless I speak to them myself. And it's served me well over time. It takes a little bit of time, but it's important. I spoke to Dr. Bennett, and he came across as an extremely compassionate, kind, caring, and passionate person. And, you know, I don't think he has post-traumatic stress disorder. I think he sees the train coming. I think he's traumatized by seeing what's coming down the road. And you know, what came to mind while he was talking, may God forgive me, my mind was wandering. And I went back to 17 years ago, when I started talking about the child sexual abuse problem in the Orthodox community. Nobody believed me. I shouldn't say nobody. Very few people believed me. A small percentage of the people believed me. And many of the people were saying polite things like, wow, really? Is it really that bad? Pass the salt. And I cannot begin to tell you what it's like, the disconnect, spending time with a trauma victim, of an abuse victim, and trying to comfort an abuse victim, trying to get an abuser thrown in jail. And then you go out among, you leave that space and you just walk out among everybody else and they're just like, yeah, whatever. I walked around Muncie today. I drove around Muncie today, actually. and there were gatherings. I definitely think it's better than it was even a few days ago, but there are private minyanim going on. There were lots of people attending some sort of gathering here, and it really has to stop. The police are already breaking up, broke up a few weddings here and in Brooklyn. I'm not going to tell anybody to call the police if you see a gathering, but you can ask a Rav. I think it has a din of a raitif. I really do. I think people who are making gatherings and thinking it's kind of cute, and we're not the only people who do it. It's not only Jewish people. The spring break kids are doing it. They're doing it in other neighborhoods. I've spoken to physicians in other communities. It's not only the Jewish people, but our beauty is that we're together. We're a close-knit community. We have a close social networking, and in a situation like this, it really this beautiful thing, this lovely thing, really becomes a little bit of a great bit of danger. I just want to show you this chart here. I pulled this off the internet. This is a list of the daily cases, how many cases there are. And you can see the line going and all of a sudden that curve coming. This morning, New York Times and other outlets wrote that Thursday morning, we passed the 10,000 case line. I mean, the United States of America now has more than 10,000 cases. By this evening, it was already over 13,000. That means it went up probably close. By now, it's probably 4,000 more victims. This is growing exponentially. Truth be told, there's hardly been any testing, or certainly not enough testing in the country. And a lot of it may just be people that were walking around that didn't know they had it. So there's going to be a spike. There's going to be a tremendous spike. And everyone I've spoken to in the medical field feels that Governor Cuomo described it as a wave that's going to come crashing down on our health system. And even, there was a story today about 7 people in a family that contracted, the coronavirus. 2 of them died, and the elderly matriarch of the family, they wrote in the article, didn't know that 2 of her children had passed away. If I'm not mistaken, I think she recently passed away. I think I remember seeing that. I may be wrong on that. But it's absolutely as clear as day that we don't have enough equipment. The hospitals are running out of masks. The nursing homes are running out of protective equipment, bleach, but just simply masks and protective gear that they need. They're being told to recycle them. I don't want to go into all the details. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an investigator. I hope that one day there will be an investigation, a bipartisan, without any nonsense, a hard-hitting investigation of what happened. But it's irrelevant right now. What Dr. Bennett, he didn't articulate it this way exactly, but what Dr. Bennett is seeing, and my friends who are in the medical profession that I've spoken to before I made this recording, what they're terrified of is the hospital system getting overwhelmed. And even if the people are saying that are making this minyanim, it's only for old people. I'm sorry for laughing. I just turned 60. I love when they say people over 60. And the people who are walking around saying, well, I'm 30, I'm 40, it happens to be, they just, people are getting sick at a younger age also. Obviously, it's not that much of a threat. But God forbid, if the hospital system gets overwhelmed, and if they run out of supplies, do you have any idea what it's going to look like? Italy. Italy is just a few weeks ahead of us, and the whole country is shut down. Everybody talks about flattening the curve. I don't want to go into all those details. What's important for us to know is that this is genuine pikuach nefesh. It's life or death. If the doctor is right and you're wrong, and you're making these private minyanim, you're going to have to answer possibly having blood on your hands. If you're right and the doctor's wrong, the doctor's going to have to answer why you didn't daven with minyan. Everybody out there, everybody, I beg you, take it seriously, knock it off. It's not cute, it's not funny, it's not pious, it's not religious. I posted the guidelines from the Chicago Rabbanim, who said that making a private minyan is against halacha. And for those who say, I asked Dr. Bennett, what do I say to the people who tell me that they observed social distancing, so they didn't do anything dangerous? And he said that it's not just the 6 feet being in I don't want to go into all the details. You came in through a door, you opened the doorknob, you touched other places, there's stuff in the air that stays for a while. But it's also, it frays at the edges of what should be a firm and fast rule. Once, if you're 40 years old and you start, walking out of the house or going somewhere or making a comment, yeah, whatever, I'll get it, I won't get it. What do you think your kids are going to say when they see this? So fraying at the edges of loosening this, what should be a firm and strict guideline, really puts people in danger. I give you all a bracha that this should pass. According to all indications, it's going to get very, very, very bad before it turns. And there's an exponential growth that's happening. Hashem should protect us. And I beg all of you to please take these guidelines seriously. Stay at home. Tell other people to stay at home. Limit your social interaction. And please don't do anything that's going to undermine these very important guidelines that were set to maintain our safety and the safety of the elderly people in our community. Thank you very much.